Now, another aspect of you, you're a strong woman. You've been doing this for a long time. You've probably your work world was probably within the stereotypical Mary Tyler Moore, a woman with a board full of men.
Yeah.
And you've succeeded. I don't know if you're the first woman village president in River Forest, but I assume you are.
Yes.
Do you wear that on your sleeve? Is that a point of pride for you? How do you?
It is to a certain extent. I mean,
Yeah.
I thank the residents of the village of River Forest for electing me first and foremost, and then I happen to be a woman in that spot. So I see it as, yes, I absolutely see it as hopefully being a good mentor to other women and women, or see it as girls that are in high school and beginning to look at colleges and begin to look at people in prominent spaces. I do think that's important that they have
absolutely.
Mentorships and mentors that they can look at. So in that vein, I'm proud of it. Is that if it can give one girl out there or one woman to say I could do it, then I've succeeded. And to me, when I was in my corporate world, having a mentor was also important. Another woman being a mentor to try to get to the next level. So, I'm proud of it. I'm happy. I don't think I wear it on my sleeve, but I do. I do acknowledge it, and I do recognize it, and I do promote it when I can.
Yeah. But it seems from my observation, it doesn't define you per se.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. No, I think you have a really good approach to it. And
well, thank you.
I think you just carry yourself with confidence and authority. And, it's definitely, I think, something that people...
Well, it's funny because I think people often, and I'm sure you get it as a trustee of Oak Park, is they think you're responsible for everything.
Yeah.
And maybe village government should be, municipalities should be, but we're not. We're not responsible for schools, we're not responsible for parks, and we're not responsible for townships. But we do care about them, and we do care that they are successful, and they are part of who we are, for sure. So I thought it was real important for us in the village to say, well, what do we do for our community? And we can go down the line. We do infrastructure. We do sewers. We do development. We take care of businesses, police, fire. Which is all the great things that we should be doing. But I always kept on challenging the administration. But what does that mean to our community? I mean, I know what police and fire means, but what does all these other things mean to the residents when you say these are the things we do? And so when we started thinking about our goals and objectives as a community, what are our goals and objectives for the village, to the community? I kept on saying, what is it that we want the residents to feel and believe in? And so we finally came back really to three, what I'll call core values or guiding principles. I mean, it could be, you could say whatever they are, but to me, they're core values, and probably guiding principles at the same time, because it gives us the idea, if we're going to spend money, does it affect one of those core values and guiding principles?
Yeah.
So what are they? They are safety above all, right? Safety for our community, for our children, for our businesses. Safety is police safety, and it's, of course, fire safety. And so we work with both of our chiefs and of course, all the officers, and ensure that we're doing whatever we can to make sure that our community's safe. Number one. Two, it's another core value is, how do we ensure that our property that we buy, our asset, which is our property, remains in a strengthening position. Yeah. In other words, I know people buy in River Forest, Oak Park, because they love it. They love the schools, they love the parks, and they love everything about our communities. But they also want to make sure that when they're ready to sell, when they're downsizing and they want to go somewhere else, or they're wanting to move, that the asset is as strong as it was when they bought it.
It's a reasonable expectation.
Right. And that's what a property tax should do for you, right? Is that your value of your home should be as hopefully at the same reasonable level, the value. And so we always looked at whatever we do, does it strengthen our property values? Does it help our property values throughout River Forest? And then the last is, what can we do constantly to stabilize our property taxes? And I know that's a major issue for all of our residents. Is property taxes are getting more and more. And although I keep explaining to our residents that we're under a non-home rule community, so we can't just increase taxes. But more importantly, we wouldn't do that. We would spend within our means, because that's what we should be doing for you. And so that's the third core value, is really spending within our means, stabilizing the village portion of the property tax.
No, it's one thing that has struck me in this role is sometimes I think for an elected official, the easiest thing to do is say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I like your idea.
Yeah.
Your idea is great. Let's do it.
Right.
It's only a small percent.
Right.
It's only pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And when you start to be in this position that say, like, no, look, there is data that shows that this tax burden, which is growing at such a rate beyond inflation or wage growth, it is causing property values to stagnate.
All right.
Speaking for Oak Park, that is happening. And anyone who denies that is kidding themselves or is being, just willfully ignorant to what the data is telling them. So I just think, it's easiest to say yes, but I think what we need more than anything is elected officials who will be willing to have these hard conversations and make these hard decisions.
Right. Well, that's exactly. It's like I said, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And if you have the good intention of saying we're here to make a better community for ourselves, and you want to put the time and energy into it, then that's who you want to be elected. Absolutely encourage constructive criticism. I don't know how else we could do it without constructive criticism, but destructive criticism I have an issue with, because I live here and you live here, we all live here, and we're all intention to do the right thing. And I would never run and get elected to do the bad thing. And I'm not saying that people don't make mistakes. It happens, but not purposefully in any way. And so to me, it's important that again, people listen to the real issues, understand the real issues, come out with real good constructive concerns or constructive criticisms and ideas. And I think it's incumbent upon us to take all of those and try to make the best of it. That's what we're trying to do, make the best of it. And that's what makes a good elected official in my mind, is that you can be able to synthesize that information and make a decision. What happens in government, and which is different than in corporate America, is you can easily get away without making any decisions. Because you never want to harm anyone, and that is not a good thing for a community.
The worst,
it's the worst thing. But that's I think where one that cannot synthesize information into okay, I hear you and I hear you and I hear you, and maybe this is the best way to go about things. It may never get accepted by the two extremes, but what matters is that it's an action. It's an action that's going to bring the community to a better place. And so I feel very comfortable in my decision making, because that's what I intend to do constantly, is to hear all the different sides of the argument, and then take my good judgment and hopefully my best intent, and make the best decision I can.